Hello, everyone. My name is Erasmus, and welcome to another episode of The Shaft. The Shaft podcast is a podcast that seeks to explore the lives of different individuals across the continent and across the globe, also, who have had some experience with debates, but we look to enjoy their life's journeys. We look to understand some of the lessons that they've learned along the way, and we look to see how debate has essentially impacted their lives. And we look forward to bringing all of those conversations with you. Before we begin today's episode, we want to say a special thank you to all of our subscribers and our viewers. It is very important what you do for us with regards to growing this platform. And thanks to you, we have been able to amass huge numbers all across our social media and all across our viewing platforms. And we want to say thank you. Over this year, over the coming year, we look to continue to expand our horizon and our territory. And we would ask that you continue to subscribe, share this with your friends, and also get them to view in order for us to be able to bring more people on, have much bigger and better conversations. And we definitely have a lot in store for you. Thank you all so much. All right. So today's episode, we look to have a conversation with a young gentleman, a personal friend of mine who has achieved a lot of things over his short life. At just 23 years of age, Duke has been able to co-found a numerous number of startups, and at the moment, he's co-founded one called Kepa, which is serving a lot of businesses in Nigeria and has huge valuations. He'll be looking to talk to us about that soon. So today we would want to understand uh, how Duke's journey has been, his motivations, his experiences, and how essentially, what essentially we can be able to learn from these. Let's welcome Duke Ekezie, everyone. Hello, Duke. How are you
Thanks,
doing?
thanks, Erasmus. I'm doing very well. How are you doing? How are things are end?
Um, I'm exceptional. It's been so long. Well, I think the last time that we met, it was in Calabar in
Yeah,
2021. Is that right?
2021, 2021 in Calabar, yes. That's the
Yeah.
last time we met. And it's been a while since that time. It feels like a lot has happened in very short time. And so we've been
Yeah.
scattered across the world. So, yeah.
Yes. Yes. I know very much that, and everyone I talk to, anytime I come to Nigeria and I say I've been to Calabar, they sound very surprised. But you guys always made Calabar very, very, very fun. Like Calabar is
Calabar is
definitely the
memorable.
city for it's definitely the city for
Calabar
enjoyment, and I recommend it to everyone.
yeah.
But it's been also been a very long time since you got involved in debates at all. I'm not sure if you can even remember when your last speech was.
Yeah, my last speech was in 2018. That was my last speech. Last time
That's 5 years ago.
5 years ago, bro. So between that time to now, I was hearing someone say Karl Popper the other day, and I was asking myself, oh, wow, I can't still remember what Karl Popper is. But between then and now, debate has been. I've just not been in the space, and I don't know a lot that's been happening, to be honest. Opening government, closing government, shaft. And I like the title of the podcast, the shaft. Literally, it's the shaft. So yeah,
Oh,
but
I'm actually impressed. I mean, these are the things that would tell people that you were really in debates. If we want some of these youngins to remember you, can you name some of the tournaments you were at, some of the moments that you had at those places, so that they know that you were really involved in debates. You know what you're talking about.
yeah. So yeah, of course, definitely. The question is, should I name the tournaments that I've been in, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
some of
yeah,
them.
makes sense. Yeah. So I think my very first debate tournament was All Nigerian Universities Debating Championship in 2015. I was still a high school. I was just done with high school then, and I was not in university then. There's always like a 9 month window, a 6 month window you have to wait for before you get into school. So I was going through that window, and I decided to just join the there was a debate academy happening, and David Ejim was the one who was organizing
Mm.
that debate academy. So I decided to just join, and see what's up. So we did it. I came out as best speaker. I won the
Wow.
tournament, and then yeah, it was very surprising to me because I didn't think I was going to. I didn't think I was going to win. Um, so I won it, and then they said, "Oh, look, we want to take you guys as a camp for ANUDC. You know, we'll
Mm,
go there, we'll register as independent, and then we have our own round and everything." So we did that, and it was a very memorable tournament. I think what I always remember the most about the big tournament is the fun we have, right?
yeah.
You know, in 2017, the most spectacular fun we had was Bully and Fish in Port Harcourt, right?
Yes.
You know, Bully and Fish in Port Harcourt, something of that sort, you know. Or in 2016 when we were in Owerri, it was, you know, Suya and some other things, you know. So
Yeah.
I tried to put a pin to the sort of fun that I have to the debate tournament I go for. So I know 2017 was Port Harcourt all through. It was a lot of fun I had.
Yeah.
I was there back to back twice, you know, and then 2018 was the Lawrence. So, you know, I
Yeah.
just the fun I had there. So, yeah, so that's about
No, that's incredible, and all of it sounds like a very long time ago. We
yeah,
there's always a story that I like to catch from people about like debate origin stories, but I think yours is very peculiar in terms of the instant success that you had, and you were very young too. Should I say you were 15 years of age? Is that if I'm
yeah,
correct? Is that correct?
yeah. I was 15.
And how was it like being in such a space where which was mostly dominated by people who were in the university, some people who were already doing their masters? How was it surviving and then thriving within that space?
I actually broke to semis at that ANUDC because there was a
Hmm.
separate category
Wow.
for us. So, and the constant question that we kept on having because it was a Kevin Price and myself. It was, oh, how old are you guys? What are you young boys doing at this tournament? You know, what are you small boys doing at this tournament? And for me, it gave me a chance to prove myself because when I know
Hmm.
that I am the youngest in the room, it does something to me mentally, and it tells me that
Hmm.
I need to up my game and I need to prove to these guys that I'm actually worth being in this room for. You know, so for me, whenever I'm in a debate room, I try to give it my 100% because I know that at the end of the day, I need to earn my stride. And the reason why I'm there is because I'm not because I'm the youngest or not because I'm the smartest, but I need to earn
Hmm.
my stride to ensure that I'm the best in the room. So that was simply the philosophy that ran me to the end.
Yeah, that's really incredible. What I don't mean to jumpstart the conversation because we're obviously going to have a conversation about your startup and the businesses that you've had to manage over the years till now. But is this something that you still face, especially you still being at a young age and you achieving the things that you have? Is this something that you still face within the space that you are in now, where you enter into the space and you're one of the youngest people over there and you have to deal with people who are much older and have much more experience than you, and how do you navigate it?
Yeah, no, to be honest, I think I still face that problem. I wouldn't even call it a problem, to be honest. I'll call it an opportunity because
Yeah.
being the youngest in the room and doing things that older people are doing is a very clear opportunity that I see, right? And you know, these days, whenever I get into a room, I know that literally I'm the youngest in that room, right? And most of my friends, especially acquaintances, professional friendships, you know, are mostly in their 30s, a few of them in their 40s, right?
Mm.
And here I am, I'm 23, and like I'm good friends with them. You know, the other day I was at a friend's 35th birthday party, and you know, it was very very good. It was very very good, but you could just see and you could tell that okay, I'm from a very different age group. So I think I see that a lot. But I realize that that's not a barrier at all for me to
Mm.
get into the field and succeed in it. Right? Because if I give myself those sort of excuses, oh, look, you're the youngest person here, then I definitely wouldn't succeed at anything I do because I'm destined to be younger and to do things earlier than everyone else would do. So, which is, you know, quite good and commendable, I would say. Uh, you know, but yeah, but navigating it has been tough, because there are certain women that you, for me, most especially, there are certain women you crush on and who tell you, oh no, you're too young for me.
You're too young.
Yeah, that's where I've been having problem managing stuff. But
Yeah,
beyond that,
that's the bit.
it's been good.
Beyond that, you've just been cruising. You've navigated
Yes,
your way through.
exactly.
Yeah, pilots, good pilots. Well, I think you said you mentioned to me that like your last speech was in 2018, and it's been 5 years now. What would you say within those 5 years you've been doing? Can you give me a summary of what your journey has been so far within the last 5 years since you
Yeah.
transitioned out?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So the last 5 years has been filled with personal growth and development. And I would say I've been and have had to be different people at different many points in time. In 2018, for context, I was a penultimate year student in university, still, trying to ask myself the question of what I really wanted to do in my life, especially after uni. And I hadn't answered that yet. And then I woke up one morning and just did a simple Google search. What are the top, richest in like careers in the world, like top paying careers in the world? And the first was investment banking, the next was consulting. And I knew, okay,
Mhm.
like mine is done. It's either investment banking or management consulting for me. And I knew that for me to succeed, I need to, learn finance. So I had to self-teach myself finance when I was
Mhm.
18 in third year. And then I started learning. And then next year in 2019, I got an internship at KPMG. Um, and it was also that year I got an internship at KPMG. It was that year when I got a job opportunity with Bank of America Merrill Lynch. But that was also
Wow.
coinciding with the time when my brother and I were talking about building a startup. So I decided to turn down the job offer and focus on the conversations, nothing concrete yet, just conversations that we were
Mhm.
having. And we were very much, I mean, if I had to look back, it was a rash, probably irrational decision to make, but it's one I'm very thankful for, right? Not accepting to go down that route and then just doing what I'm doing right now. Um, so between 2020 to 2022, we started a software outsourcing startup in 2020. It was doing quite well, but then the pandemic came and a lot of jobs had to be shrinked out. And even a lot of companies now realize that they could do a lot more with a lot less people. So a lot of them stopped hiring engineers. We stopped getting paid, and once the money stopped coming in, we had
Mhm.
to start asking ourselves the question of what we were really doing. So we built another startup after like 4 months. Built another startup. It wasn't doing very well after 4 5 months. We shut it down, and then we landed at Kipper. And with Kipper, year to date, we've raised about $12.4 million from global investors. Um, and right now, I think we have about, we used to employ, north of like 70, 80 people sometime last year. So, and about 650,000 people use the application to run their business. So I think right now I am at that phase where I am prioritizing my entrepreneurial growth very importantly. I also have another fashion brand called Tough World, which is something I'm building on the side to see how we can scale that. But that's been me in a nutshell.
No, I think it's an incredible number of things to be done in 5 years. Sometimes you just don't know how the years go by, and to even think it's been 5 years in the first place. But to be able to gauge all of these experiences that you've had, and we'll definitely be going into each and every one of them. But I think what I'm curious to know is how you made the decision to just get into finance and of all things get an internship at KPMG. What would you say you had to rely on in terms of being able to switch your mentality? Because I'm guessing you didn't read finance in school, did you?
Yeah, yeah, no, I didn't.
Yeah. So how were you able to build on that capacity to get good, not just good enough to know about the subject, but good enough to be able to enter into the space and then begin to thrive?
Yeah, so I would say I relied a lot on materials that found myself whenever I found on the internet, whenever I saw through the internet, and I knew that I wanted to be the best in the game I was playing in. And so I tried to arm myself with as much information as possible, and while I was at it in finance, I was really consuming a lot of information and I was consuming a lot of content. So I think that was just what made me stand out. Someone who was hungry for learning, someone who was really hungry to get, to get things done. Um, and then at the end of the day, KPMG was the most coveted internship in Nigeria at the moment. Lots of people they always release their statistic, hundreds of thousands of people apply, but they only pick about 60, for the internship. So it's just one of those. And for me, while I was applying, I gave it my all, and gave it my 100%. And at the end of the day, it was successful. So yeah. But I think the most important mentality that you need to have while being in a space like that, is just knowing that you're always there to win, right? And you can't take no for an answer. You can't lose, right? Because I think losing isn't very good. So nobody wants to have that feeling of what loss feels like. So yeah.
Yes, so you'd say you're a very competitive person, right? And you're always trying to sharpen that edge.
Yeah,
That
I'm working on my competitiveness. To be honest, I don't know if I'm very as competitive as I would want to be, because I really want to get more competitive than I am. There's sometimes when I tell myself, it's okay, it's fine. Like I give myself a pat on the back when I shouldn't sometimes, and I'm trying to hone that competitive, edge to get me out of different situations at different points in time. So let's see how that goes.
yeah, we'll be looking into that soon. I think what I've noticed is that for a lot of people who are very, very, very successful, they are very, very competitive, even at a very young age. And
Yeah,
I tend to find that also within my circle, especially because I came out of debates. And you know, like debates just feeds on that competitiveness. We are friends, but we want to kill each other within the debate room. So
yeah,
it's just interesting to see how for you it is playing out for you on the outside world. But what I want to focus on next is something crucial, which you said. One about receiving a job opportunity from Bank of America, and especially even returning from that KPMG internship, because I'm
yeah,
sure it's the same country we are talking about where lots of people are looking to leave. People are leaving for less than KPMG,
yeah.
even way less. People are leaving to just be cleaners outside of the country. How do you have such a job offer that is probably offering you five figures in foreign currency and you turn it down?
That's a good question. Though. I think this is the same question my parents would have asked me if I told them about it, but I didn't ask them. I didn't tell them, sorry, so they didn't ask, which is good. But at that time, when I thought about, because I always try to think long term, right? One thing I knew when I was done with my internship at KPMG was that I didn't want to spend the rest of my life working behind a laptop crunching numbers. And I wanted to live my life doing something very impactful. And when the opportunity for building a startup versus going into investment banking fully like presented itself, I told myself I didn't want to get distracted by that opportunity of working at a company and working behind a laptop and crunching numbers, right? I wanted to actually do something real, right, and get invested and interested in something that is actually creating real positive impact I can see. So that was why. And back in the day, I wasn't very much moved by it. I mean, you could say I was a very naive teenager, but I wasn't moved by the money or whatever. So it didn't really, I didn't really feel like I was missing out on much, And I didn't know that I was going to be like I was going to make more money than the money I was being offered, of course. But it's just, you know, I just thought it wasn't the right thing to do then. So yeah,
No, that's incredible. Especially as someone who's worked within the space, I know how much people are fighting tooth and nail to be able to get such an opportunity to not just like leave the country. It's people's dreams, literally. So I can imagine you at 19 year olds and at 19-year-old and the kind of mentality it would require to be able to turn this down and not even tell your parents.
Yeah, I didn't tell my
um,
parents about it.
no, I'm sure they would have, even if they hear it right now, they will still like think twice about
Yeah,
it.
yeah, I know they would. They clearly would.
No. So you had an objective even at that point where you I think you mentioned this to me that you wanted to change your world. You wanted to see more of the world and you wanted to define your path. Do you think a couple of years down the line, do you think you've been able to do that?
I think I'm still on the journey. I think I'm still on that journey. Um, I don't think I've been able to change my world as much as I would want to. I'm
Mm,
still on that journey. I'm still figuring things out. Um, I think I've been able to change the world and the lives of about 650 businesses that depend on Kipa for
mhm,
survival and to help their business run and operate smoothly. So I've been able to do that to a large extent. Um, you know, but I don't think I've been able to do that very well, to be honest. I don't think I've been able to do that very well. So
is this something you say to get yourself to that point where you're constantly pushing yourself, or is this something you genuinely believe? Because don't get me wrong, everyone who hears about the massive achievement you've made over these couple of years will say that you have changed your world, at least something around it. I'm sure you're able to help people around you, your family, your some of your friends. I'm sure you have been able to impact their lives. But
yeah.
is this something that you say in order to just keep your competitive edge, or is something that you really, really believe?
Yeah, no, I do believe it actually. I don't want to rest on my laurels at all. I know that
Mm.
something has been achieved, right? That's good.
Yes.
There's still a lot more, a whole lot more that could be achieved, right? So for me, I know that I've done to a relative extent, I've done something good, you know, something small, something good, something fair. Um, but to a large extent, there's still a lot that has to be done, and it is our work to do that, right? It's our job to go back
Mm.
and do that. So that's exactly what I'm mission on.
Okay, that's very good. There are a couple of things I want to highlight on right now. You started one startup, but when the pandemic came in, it went down, and that's a moment that yourself you reflect on and say, "Well, this wasn't super successful." How important, or how many failures? I don't know how to frame this question very well, but can you reference other um, things which you've touched on, or other things you can point to as landmark failures in your life, and how has that impacted you as a person, especially moving forward?
Yeah. No, so I think when my first startup failed, it was a very big realization to me then that anything could fail, right? Because I didn't know what failure really meant, like, or what failure really felt like. I can remember there was a bath in the morning. I was going into the bathroom and just like feeling very down and feeling very unhappy and feeling like I didn't belong in the world because of what happened with the startup. So, I think that's the first time failure really hit me in the face. But another time, sometime has been losing a debate tournament, probably,
Mm,
or missing out on top 10. That's
yes.
that's a very very big one. So missing out on that, or losing a debate round, that's like micro failure. But then at
Mm.
the end of the day, I think I've had hit failures, and I think failing at my startup is one that's been profound. Yeah,
Yeah, I can cast my mind back to so I think we must have spoke at one tournament. There's a tournament we spoke at, and sometimes having to deal with that heartbreak, and especially as a very competitive person, I'm sure you would experience it even
yeah.
in much larger degrees. How? how have you been able to cope with some of these instances? How do you move on? How do you get on from that?
Yes, so I think the biggest way for you to get on is just you have to get on with your life, right? You have to tell yourself that time is moving past and you need to just get up and keep going, right? Because at the end of the day, if you sit and wait, like life is moving and life is going past, right? And life is very short too. So you need to be very cutthroat with, with what you're doing, and you need to be very, very insightful about it too. So for me, I think when I think about it, life keeps moving on and it's constantly evolving. So I want to always evolve with it and I want to move forward with it. There'll never be a
Yeah,
time where when I miss out on an opportunity, I'm feeling so downcast that I can't go out to do work, because it's the work that actually brought me to where I am right now. So
yeah.
I would never compromise the work. So yeah, that's that.
No, that's incredible. I take a lot of cue from that in terms of um just getting on with it. Like nobody really cares. Like if it's happened, just picking yourself up and saying, okay, what's that sort of clarity that you're able to get after things have just gone haywire. I just think
Yeah,
it's crucial for a lot of people. Like this, I feel this is where the difference is made when we talk about people who have been champions and then people who continue to stay in regrets. Um,
yeah,
there's one thing I want to highlight on, um, especially. I'm guessing there was a point at which you had to move away from home and you had to be your own man, start taking some of these crucial decisions about yourself, about the career, about the kind of life that you wanted to have. How would you say, um, how were you able to do that? How were you able to craft a path for yourself and be your own man? And what does it mean to you, even that statement or that phrase about being your own man?
I think the first thing is always think long term, right? I think when people try to juggle opportunities or juggle like prospect or whatever within their head, I think they tend to think very short term, and that's a problem. So long term, what is going to be the best outcome from this situation, right? I think that that's one. Two is asking yourself, what's the best version of myself that I can give to this thing that I want to do, and whatever that is, whatever the best version of that person is, provide that best version to whatever that thing needs, right?
Mm,
And I think three, and very importantly too, I think it's just remaining very teachable and humble, right?
mhm.
I don't think a lot of people are very teachable. I think when I come across certain people now, I tell myself, oh wow, like I don't know how you got here, but I don't think you should, right? Because many of them are very, very non-humble and are not teachable too. So I think those are the three things that are top of mind for me when it comes to that.
No, that's incredible, especially when you speak about being teachable. Because like I think there's something you can always learn, right? We almost never stop learning, right?
Yeah.
There's always something to learn in that instance. Incredible. I want us to come to a more fun section of the questioning. You have you were you in Accra? I'm sure you were in Accra a couple of times for debate tournaments.
Yeah, yeah.
What would you say is your most fun place to be in across the world? And I've
My
already
most
given
fun
you the
place
hint.
is actually Accra. To be honest,
Ah,
Accra is my most fun place, bro. I love Accra so
what
much. And then
what is it about
last
Accra you love?
man,
I know
so
the
many
answer, but I want the audience to know.
exactly, so many things. Um, well, no, I really love Accra. I love the food. I love the people. The best people live in Ghana. So the best guys are the guys from Ghana. So, we whenever we are there, we always have fun, and I love the fun that
Yeah.
we have. I remember Icy Cup very clearly, and I wish I can have Icy Cup right now.
Oh, I-
Yeah, Icy Cup. I
I'm not sure a lot
remember
of people remember Icy Cup.
Icy Cup. But yeah, but Ghana is my favorite place to be, and I think another favorite place is Paris, probably. But I think
Mm,
the memories I have from Paris is The memories I have from Paris is, I think it's more very different from the memories I have from a place like Ghana. Because for Ghana, it
Mm.
is more so, the food, the people, and I love Ghanaian food. I love
Yeah, is
Ghanaian
it the
food. So,
jollof?
are you taking us there? Are you- But yeah, I know. I love the jollof actually. I love the jollof.
Mm.
I love
I
Ghanaian.
know it's the best one in the world. You agree? It's the superior jollof.
To be honest, that's not true. I just feel like
Come
I
on,
feel like
come on.
with Ghanaian jollof, I feel like it depends on with Nigerian jollof, right? It depends on where you have it. Right? In Ghana,
Yeah,
one thing I'll say is you guys have a standard way of cooking jollof that if you go anywhere, you get that same standard and the standard is good. But in Nigeria,
yeah.
some standards are excellent and then some standards are so there's no
Oka
universal
jollof.
standard, but universal Ghanaian standard. Exactly. Oka jollof or there are different types of jollof.
No, it reminds me of the banter we used to have a lot on Wadek, and all the
Mhm.
drama that we used to
Yeah.
have. Like I know we had a lot of jollof banters too, but like I don't know if you remember those times. Do you remember any of those big controversies that used to happen on Wadek? I'm sure you remember a couple because I knew your
I
hands were in a few. So
What did I do,
yeah.
I beg? Off your
So,
mic.
but but how do you reminisce those times, and what do you reflect on in those moments with regards to some of the controversies that were happening on the page and the things that were flying around? What was
Yeah.
some of the most interesting one? I can give you
I
one
think
to
when
help
I
you,
think
but I want
about
to
it,
hear what you have to say.
yeah, when I think about it, I think I always tell myself those are really good times. Those are really, really good times. The controversies, Kola versus Ejim, Kola versus Kumbi, faithfulness versus the whole South African debate community. But I think my most interesting one was faithfulness's controversy with the Women's Forum in 2016, 16 or 17, where they said he slut shamed someone or whatever, and I was like,
Yeah.
whoa, it was a very interesting time. So, and I think my
Hmm.
favorite controversies are the ones that always involve faithfulness, because he gets into a lot of controversies. So, my favorite ones are the ones that involve him. So, yeah,
Yeah, I want to ask you a question, a very serious question, and I need
yeah,
your utmost sincerity
yeah.
and answer. What's your assessment of the Onion Gang?
Ah! Wow, the onion gang split up. Oh. Onion gang split up after a while. Onion gang was Olga was
What happened?
nah.
What happened to Onion Gang?
I don't know what happened to Onion gang. They split up after some time. After some time, I realized this person wasn't talking to this other person wasn't talking to this other person.
Wow.
I think the only person that remained constant was Henrietta, who was around the
Yeah.
fringes, but remained constant,
Yeah.
talking to everyone. Everyone talked to her. But the two main onions of the gang, Benjamin and Olga, they had their issues. Though, so Onion
Ah.
Gang couldn't onion again.
No, those were super. Those are super interesting times. I always call them golden moments, right? Because
Yeah,
when you're in them, you almost never realize that, oh, I'm
yeah,
actually having fun.
yeah,
And
fun,
then
yeah,
when you get past them, you're like, oh, those were the good old times.
yeah.
And for me, that begs an interesting question now. Is there anything happening within your life and at this moment where put you can put a pin in and say, oh, these would be the golden moments of my life in a few years' time?
Good question. I think right now the fundamental of what I'm doing, the foundation of, because I think I am called to be an entrepreneur, and I think the foundation of everything I'm doing right now, I'm simply just building seeds that I know would
Mm,
germinate. It just depends on the timing, when will it germinate and how long can you wait for? And I think that that's a question I ask myself. How long can I wait for these seeds to germinate? But I think that, the golden moment, years down from now would be this seeds that I'm sowing right now.
Mhm.
Um, you know, and I think, the seed is very important. It's very, very important. So I think that it's definitely going to be the thing that I'm going to look back on and say, yes, this is what was that, moment for me.
Mhm. Yeah, and we're actually like rooting for you. I think it's very important to reflect on those moments. At least personally for me, I've known to I'm learning, still learning to cherish moments a bit
Yeah,
more whilst they're happening
yeah,
instead of like
yeah.
it's gone past you. But dude, another question I wanted to ask, given someone who has had a lot of success, especially over the period of their lives, what would you say? I guess my first question from this is, what would you say have been some of the darker lessons of success? Because everyone likes to talk about the flashy parts, the nice parts, what it gives you. I'm sure a lot of people have heard about that. What would you say have been some of the darker lessons you've learned from success?
Um, I think one of the dark lessons I've learned is that success is a very lonely road, and you have to thread on that path on your own. Um, I think I've also realized that some of the most successful people are some of the loneliest people, right?
Mm,
Because it's very hard for you to call a room of like-minded individuals who want to cause or create a change, and you fill that room and you find the room filled up, right? So
mm,
for me, I think, you know when you think about it, it's always a road that you have to walk through on your own. You don't have to go with a lot of people. So it has its bad sides, because the bad sides that you have to go on it alone and you have to be, lonely and stuff. So I think success is definitely a very lonely one. And it's one that, to be honest, I'm happy working alone in it if I can
mm.
achieve. Yeah.
No, interesting. And I know a big part of Kippa and what you guys are building is you've been working with Kennedy, who's your brother. Um, I just wanted to ask, how important has family been on this journey? I know your parents are very, very astute people. They are people who demand a lot from you guys too, in terms of your attitude, in terms of how you grow up. How important has family been, and how important has that grooming been for you, especially over the course of your life?
Yeah, no, I think family has been very critical. One thing I always do is I try to see my family once a quarter. I try to see, you know, I try to see my family at least once every 3 months,
Mm,
and because I think that those are the most important people in my life right now,
mm,
right? And I think family has been very important for, Kennedy and I, we're building this company that we've been able to build, because at some point in time, you realize that one person is down and you need the other person, right?
mm,
There's some times when I have been down and I've needed Kennedy, and the times when he has been down and has needed me. And in those times, you just need someone to step up, to shoulder more responsibility, basically. And I think that for me, having someone who I can trust at every point in time to take on responsibility, is a very great thing. And it's not just anybody; it's someone who you can, lead on at every point in time. Someone who has that experience and who knows you very well. It's someone who knows you very well. It's someone who knows your flaws, someone who knows your
mhm,
weaknesses, your strong points. And I think that one thing that Kennedy and I have been able to do very well is complement ourselves properly, right? So if
mm.
he's good at this, I'm good at this other thing, and if he's good at this other thing, I'm good at the other. So that's been the most important thing for us, complementing each other properly. And I think
Yeah.
having a relationship with someone who complements you and having that person as your partner, whatever it is a very important one too. So yeah, I think that's that there.
No, I'm very, very, very happy to hear that, because I think You guys are benefiting from something which is very unique. I always say that you can't almost do it alone, so you always need people around you to help you make it happen. And usually, the closest people around you is family, bro. And
Yeah,
I'm very happy. So I'm thinking that means you still go to Calabar often, right?
I go to Calabar often. I go to Calabar once every 3 months.
Ah,
I was in Calabar as a last month in November.
oh, really?
Yes, I go to
Oh
Calabar very
God.
often.
I miss Calabar to be very
Yeah,
honest.
Calabar is a very good city.
I
Very
know
good city.
I don't either. The funny thing is I always have like issues because I've been there twice,
Yeah,
and I don't know if you remember the first time I was there, I got stuck over there, and I had to
yeah,
like
yeah,
travel alone,
yeah.
and
I
I
can
had to
remember
travel
that one.
alone. Yeah, so there's something that I think I shared later with the community, like the police at the border stops. The first time I came in and I was going out, the police actually stopped me and they asked my nationality, and everyone told me to lie that I was Nigerian. But that's the thing. When they ask where are you from, and you're like Nigeria, they'll ask for your state, then they'll ask for
Yeah,
your local government. So we had practiced that session. It's like, oh, when they ask for your state, just say just say, oh, you are from this particular state, and when they ask for your local government, say you are from this. And we had practiced it carefully, perfectly. But for some reason, when I got there and they asked me, I panicked. So I was like, I panicked. So I was like, I'll just say the truth, and the truth shall set me free. Ladies
how
and gentlemen,
did the
it
truth set
didn't
you
set
free?
me free.
That's the problem with dealing with the Nigerian authority. The truth doesn't set you
so
free.
so I told them, they asked me where you from. I'm like, I'm Ghanaian. Their eyes lit up. Ghanaian,
Yeah,
calm down.
Ghanaian. Come on, come on. What are you looking for in our country?
Exactly. They're like, bring your passports, bring this, bring that. Jesus Christ. It was one of the worst experiences. But like, I mean, it never dims in general, like what I get to experience and anytime I'm in Calabar, and I see that you guys go there a lot and like still linking up with everybody. That's really beautiful. Anyway, so I want to continue with this, right? So what would you say, because when you want to when you want to begin a startup, right, there are lots of different ideas that can come to mind, a lot of things that you could work on. What made you settle on Kepa?
To be honest, I think the investors made us settle on Kepa, right?
Mm,
And the customer traction also made us settle on Kepa. When you had, but I think most importantly was the customer traction. When you had built
mm,
an application that tons of people were installing every day, and they were not just installing, but they were installing and providing feedback about it, telling you, look, these are the areas I want things to be better at. These are the areas I think should work at. In Tomu, you feel very proud of what you've gone to do, right? And then we had customer traction with simultaneous investment, investor interest. So that just meant that, it was like a double barrel for us. And it was a double barrel that was very good, right? Customer traction, people are coming in, people want to install your application, investors asking you, what's up? Like, what are you building? Can you come talk to us about it? So I think those are the two reasons for why I would say, okay, Keeper was that thing for us because of the both traction
mm.
that we're getting from both investors and customers.
Yeah, I'm very keen to get where the ideas and education is from. Let's say there's another debater looking to start a startup. Where should they be getting their data? Where should they be getting the reading on in building the next big platform and being able to offer such a unique solution?
I think Y Combinator is the best place, right? Y Combinator
Hmm.
offers a series of videos around everything: how to fire employees, how to, track productivity, how to hire your first engineering team, how to run finance for your company, how to build great products, different things. So Y Combinator has that array of videos that I think every single startup founder should be paying attention to. So, you know, If you go there on their YouTube library, you'll find a ton of videos. So I think everyone should just head there and you really find a lot of valuable materials there. Y Combinator.
Mm. Oh, that's really good. At least our platform is helping people out there. We just hope that there's a lot more testimonies from this.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I should perhaps have asked this question very early on. For someone who doesn't know Kipper, what should they be thinking about when they think about Kipper? What are you looking to do, and why should they be concerned about it?
Software management, right? If you think about it, software management today, the way businesses run and operate in Africa today is still very much antiquated. And they run as though they are being run in the 50s. And so what we simply try to provide for these businesses is a tool that can help you manage that entire chaotic process orderly, right? And in some way give you some sort of autonomy to do things that you've always wanted to do for yourself. All right. Because we think that want to, people want to get that freedom to do stuff that they want to do as business owners, but they can't do that because they're being drowned in manual complex processes or accounting, invoicing, inventory, all of those things. So how do we make all of that, dump it down, make it very simple, simplify it,
Mhm.
and then give it to these people who asked us for it? So that's simply what we've done. And it's software management for businesses, everywhere.
Mhm.
So yeah.
No, that's really really ingenious. But when I think about technology and I think about Africa, I'm sorry, there's such a huge disparity that comes to me, and especially for a business that operates primarily in Nigeria. What has it been like working in such a climate? Because especially around this time of the year, with all of the global geopolitics issues going on, a lot of
Yeah.
instability. What has it been like operating in such a climate, and how are you finding the strength and the tools to adapt?
It's been very hard to be honest, operating in this climate. Operating in this climate has been very hard, but I've been thankful to a few people who have been very helpful with just providing recommendations and providing resources where necessary. I would say our investors are very good people who are always very, very much willing and able to help where they can. I'd also say we have a very good set of employees too who are willing to double their effort and put in the work to get things done in these times. Because I think productivity is what everyone is the watchword right now. So productivity for us is very important and something that we have from our employees, right? And something that we're not taking for granted. So yeah, I think those are the two sharp edged swords that you need to go on and just like compete. You have employees that are looking to give you, or you have investors that are looking to back you and support you no matter what you
Mhm.
do. So you need those two support systems as a company, and that's something that we're getting right now. So yeah.
That's a very good response. But I think what I'm wondering right now is yeah, what I'm wondering right now is also is that how were you able to communicate this vision, and how were you able to get like the support from some of the people around you?
How do you communicate the vision and how do you get support from people around you?
Yeah.
I think communication has to be very crisp and clear, right? I think people need to know what exactly you're doing, for them to even back and support you. I think, people also need to have a storyline. Like, I think many people don't have a story, and it's very hard for people to support you when you have no story behind what you're saying or what you're doing, right? So I think having a story is very important for communication. And I think just having that vision and that clarity in your head is also a very good one too. So I think really what is really needed.
All right, great. Thank you very much. Let's talk about Tough World right now. What's Tough
Yes.
World? What was the vision? What were you seeking to do
Yeah,
with
no,
Tough
Top
World?
World is just a fashion brand like every other fashion brand. It's an urban, ready to wear streetwear fashion brand. High luxury, high to mid luxury to be honest.
Mm,
Um, yeah, and like it's a fashion brand, modeling after Rude and Daily Paper.
mm,
funny enough, I saw the founder of Daily Paper at Street Sook in Lagos about 4 days
Mm,
ago, and it was very nice to see him. But we are modeling the brand after Daily Paper and Rude,
mm,
because we think that those are the brands that are doing what we want to do that we aren't doing now. So yeah, and we think that fashion is a very incredible space to invest in. I
mm,
think the creative economy employs is the second largest employer of labor in Africa,
mm.
after the agricultural sector. Um, but the creative
Oh,
sector is something that we don't tap into very much, because I don't know why, but I don't think there's a lot of I would say professionalization of tags and titles of people in the creative sector. So not a lot of people want to get into it. So, but
yeah.
it's really employed a lot of people. So for me, it was how do I get into a space that I know is also profitable too, and the business I was building with Victor was profitable. So I decided to double down on it.
No, that's really interesting. Was it a case that is a space that you felt you also enjoyed yourself in, but maybe just run a business alongside it, or it was mainly just for the business motive?
It was for the business motive, but it was just something that I wanted to do on the side. But right now, I'm now
Mm,
taking more. I'm taking the bull by the horn and actually trying to get on it and be fully immersed and involved in the process itself. So,
mm,
yeah, it started as a side thing, but now it's now like a main thing itself. It's a side chick
yeah.
that's become a main chick.
So it's always important to graduate. No, bro.
Yeah.
Like, good, good. Before I let you go, just to wrap up the conversation, what would you say you do for fun, and how important is it to always keep something like that for yourself?
Yeah. I hang out with friends, have drinks with friends. There's something in Lagos called Tacos Tuesday. So it's literally a Tacos Tuesday night where there are different folks who come out, eat tacos, drink beer. I go out for that a few times and I like it. I just like the ambience. And I like clubbing too. Let me be honest with you. I'm
Just
a
waiting for
Lagos
that
boy.
one.
I'm a Lagos boy. So Lagos boys and their clubbing 5 and 6. So I love clubbing too. Um, but I really
Mm.
have fun like hanging out with friends.
But it's important. Myself, I've always said I need to get back to Lagos as soon as possible before, especially around the time like this in December when like everyone is around and there are a lot of things happening all around. But finally, I know I said that was the last thing, but usually we like to leave just a minute to our guests to speak to the audience, tell them what they've been up to. If you have any advice for debaters who've just come in, the cow popper guys, and anything you just want to share with our audience, man.
Um, I would say one thing that has been at the back of my mind recently has been what does it truly take to define success, and what does success mean for a great man, right? Because a great man who is very successful in business, but his marriage is failing, when he looks at himself in the mirror every morning, he doesn't see himself as very successful. So, what does it take to achieve all round success, and how can we hit that NPS? You know, and I think the most important thing for me right now is actually taking my time to understand what the different ingredients of success really are. Because I don't think we have a universal definition of what success is. And success is very relative. So if you have money in Nigeria, you're a successful person, right?
Mm,
But if your children are doing horribly at school, you're still successful, right? So what does it really mean to be successful, and how can one apply those different ingredients at different points in life? To the audience, I would say I would want you to charge yourself to be a better version of you every morning when you wake up, right? I would say, you know, try as much as possible to, yeah, be a better version of yourself. Wake up in the morning and say, I want to be a better version of myself. I want to be better than yesterday. And you can do it. So that's what I have for the audience today. Thank you, Erasmus. This
Yeah,
has been
that's
lovely.
wonderful. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Duke. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate you joining us on the show here today.
All right, man. Thank you so much.